Look at how nasty my front license plate looks. Now, I haven't had this on my vehicle for about 5 years since I got my Jeep, but this was what was on my old mom mobile. It got ran into, I left it on, it has chips all over it, I left it on, but when I got my new vehicle, I decided this was too awful looking. Today, I'm going to make my new license plate. So I'm going to use a license plate blank that I got off of Amazon. You get multiples of these for really not too expensive. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. Thank you so much for those of you that use those links. I get a little commission from those, and it doesn't cost anything more to you. And then I put that right back into my YouTube business and buy more things. So in addition to my license plate blank, I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol to clean it with paper towels. I'll have some heat-resistant tape. Now, because this license plate is 12 inches in width, I'm using this larger paper. This is 8.5 by 14 inch. I'll use my heat press, which you can't see quite yet, but you will in just a little bit. I have some butcher paper. I also got that off of Amazon. You get a huge roll for really not a lot of money. And then a couple of Teflon sheets. If I think of anything else, I'll mention it in the video. So if you're interested in learning how to make a sublimation license plate, then keep watching the video. Now today, I'm going to go ahead and print my image from Inkscape because I want to do a little manipulation of it. You can print it from whatever you like to, as long as you have a sublimation printer and sublimation paper, you'll be fine. So let me open Inkscape up. This is a free design software. Now, I like to use panels over here, and let me show you how you get those, because I've had many people say their screen doesn't look like mine when I'm working in it. If you go over here, and you just nudge it, your panels show up. There's another way to make them show up, and it's probably the way I would use. I'll just open Inkscape back up. Notice those panels aren't there, but if I go up and I change my document properties, since I'm printing on 8.5 by 14, I need to change them anyway. Now voila, there they are. So I'll select 8.5 by 14, and then all I do is X out of it, and it's changed. Now to bring in my image, I go to File, Import, and then I just have to find it down here. Okay, so I brought it in as a JPEG. I've already been through this process once, so I have an SVG as well. But I'm going to start with my JPEG. So I'll say open, and then I just click OK. I just bring it in. Now that came in huge. So right up here, first of all, I want to lock my proportions. And then I think I'll look and see what it looks like at about 14 inches wide. When I change the width, since I locked the proportions, the heights change as well. Now, if yours doesn't say inches, just click on the down arrow and pick what you want. Now with my license plate being 6 by 12, I want to make a template just a little bit larger than that. So I'll click on this rectangle and square tool, and then I'll just drag a rectangle. Now I find my dimensions over here, so I'm going to say I'm going to go 12.2 inches wide and 6.2 inches tall. What I want to do is, so I have to go back to the select tool to move it. I want this over my image. Now notice I can't see through that, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Objects, and then I'm going to drag this to decrease the opacity, and that helps me see it. So right now I feel like the Razorback is a little too large. Let me click on it. I can either drag it to make it smaller, or if I wanted, I could just go up here. But I want to see it as it changes. Now I think his tail is closer to the left than his snout is to the right, so I'll just drag my picture over. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. No, I'm going to go just a little bit smaller. Okay, I like that. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to drag around both images. That selects both of them. I'll go up to Object, Clip, and Set. And that gives me exactly what I need. Now if I click on it again, notice these arrows turn. See, before they were straight so you could drag it to make it larger. Click on it a second time. Now I can rotate it. Now I need this to be within the paper. If it's not, it'll get cut off when I print it. And then I'm going to try to make it a little bit straighter. It's not a big deal if it's not perfectly straight because I'll know where I'm laying my license plate. That looks close enough. Now I'm ready to print. In the intro of the video, I told you if I forgot anything, I'd let you know about it, and I forgot my heat gloves. So I'll be using these as well. So here's my blank. Sometimes these come with plastic on the front, even on the back, and it's kind of hard to see. So before you sublimate on any hard surface, make sure that if there's any clear plastic on it, you remove that first. I want to go ahead and remove any grime or anything like that. So I put some alcohol on this. I'll go ahead and wipe it off, then I'll dry it real well. Then it's always a good idea to use a lint roller on anything you're going to sublimate on just to remove any stray fibers, dust, things like that. Then while my license plate's getting good and dry, I'm going to go ahead and lay my print under my heat press. I'm not going to lay the platen down, but I'm going to put this under here about 10 seconds just to really get it dry as well. Now this is just a cheap heat press from China that I got off of Amazon. You can pull the platen out. It's not smooth or anything. It's not like the expensive ones, but you can pull it out so that you can work out here. Now remember, I made my image just a little bit larger than my license plate. So I'll lay my license plate down, making sure that I have a little rim of the black outside of the license plate all the way around. Then once I get it centered up well, I'll add some heat tape. The heat tape just makes sure that your image doesn't jump when you lift and close your heat press, and it doesn't shift sideways. If there's movement anytime during the sublimation process, you're going to get a blurry image or a ghosted image. Now that I have it secure, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. Now, because there's a little bit of ink that's going to be facing down, I need to be sure and put some blowout paper underneath my license plate. Then I have a piece over the top as well. Now I want to get that centered under the platen pretty well, just so I have even pressure. Now I'm going to heat this for 45 seconds at 385 degrees. Now with my image secured down with tape, it's probably not a big deal, but I like to put pressure down so that the platen doesn't pop up and jump. Now I'm going to let that cool down just for a minute. I really want the sublimation process to finish before I take my paper off, just so I don't accidentally shift it. Now, it's always a good sign when you can see your sublimated image through the back of the paper, and I can see it. Let me flip it around, it's upside down. I don't know if you can see that through there or not, but let's go ahead and remove that. That is pretty. Now I can see a little bit of white on there, and I'm hoping that it's just where the paper stuck. And I would guess so because I don't see any bright spots left on this, except of course there and there. Let me show you what I mean. See, there's some white right there and over here. I'm going to take that into the sink, wash it off, and see what I get. This is drop dead gorgeous. All those white spots came off. Now at first, see this gray area up here? I was afraid that was some fading, but that was in the image. I absolutely love this, so I'm going to run down, put it on my Jeep, and I'll show you a picture at the end. Thanks so much for joining me and sticking it out all the way till the end. Until my next video. Bye-bye.